Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Fer, and this is kind of a weird video because I do honestly hope that Guillermo del Toro watches it. So if you like this video and you end up agreeing with me, please send it to him on Twitter. If that worked, then hello Guillermo. I know you are a fan of monsters and anime, and that's why I think that you, of all people, would benefit immensely from watching Hunter x Hunter. The X is silent. Specifically, I think you would benefit from watching the Chimera Ant Arc because it explores the psychology of becoming a monster in a way that I'm sure you will find inspiring and could very well lead you to write even better stories. First off, you should know that Hunter x Hunter becomes almost an entirely different show on each of its arcs, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. You could start on episode 76 of the 2011 adaptation or in chapter 186 of the manga if you prefer to read it. Let me give you all the context you are gonna need. This is Gon, this is his friend Killua, and about a year ago they both learned Nen. Nen is basically the name for magic in this world. And Gon is doing all of this because he wants to find his father. And in fact, the Chimera Ant arc begins with Gon finding not his father, but Kite, who is a very close friend of his father. At this point, I have to start telling you a little bit about the plot, but don't worry, I'm gonna keep spoilers at a minimum. And in fact, so much happens in this arc that it's impossible to spoil it in a 10-minute video. Kite was in the middle of hunting an invasive species known as Chimera ants. They are called chimeras because the queen has the unusual ability to pass the characteristics of anything she eats to her progeny. Apparently, they were brought from some faraway place where they were kept in check by other creatures. But now everyone is afraid that these ants will start eating larger and larger animals until they are able to eat humans. But these fears have already become a reality because this thing exists, and she is a chimera ant queen. She doesn't know where she came from, she doesn't know she's part human. All she knows is her instincts, that she has to prepare for eventually laying the egg of the king. So she starts hunting animals and more humanoid ants are born. The first generation of worker ants are not very smart, but all of that changes with these two kids. Their story is very tragic and I'm sure you'll love it. What happens is that the mother makes the older brother promise that he will keep his little sister safe. But he cannot keep this promise when literal monsters come from the sky, kill them both, and feed them to the queen. When the queen lays the eggs of the next generation of workers, this ant is born, and his name is Colt. And he is very special because he is the first worker ant who is intelligent. He is the first worker ant who can speak. And not just that, he remembers being this little boy. He remembers everything. And that makes the wings he has a sort of metaphor about him being an angel now. You would think that the memories he has about being this little boy and the knowledge that he was murdered would make him turn against the queen. But in fact, he is unquestionably loyal. He believes it was his destiny to die and to be reborn in this new form for this new purpose. Even more, he sees this new life as a sort of continuation of the promise he made to his mother. Because now he is protecting the queen and all of the ants yet to be born. In a way, he is still protecting his little siblings. Upon learning that eating humans make her worker ants smarter, the queen orders Colt to bring her as many humans as he can. So yeah, this little kid was murdered, he was reborn as a monster, and then he starts kidnapping and killing more people to end up just like him. They end up consuming all of the population of an entire nation, and all the new ants are born intelligent. Most of them remember their previous lives, although some remember more than others, and yet none of them are resentful. None of them are sad or angry about this fate. They are all happy to have been reborn this way. It's like their soul was transmuted along with their bodies. Like there's some sort of process that happens inside the queen that combines the properties of the bodies of all of these different animals, but it also combines their souls. And sure, the souls of humans predominate over the souls of these other creatures, but something is encrusted in their soul, like the soul of an ant is encrusted inside them, and this is what makes them loyal to the colony. This is what makes them think this is good because now they are superior, they are better. It makes them feel this is what they were always supposed to be. Of course, while all of this is going on, the main characters want to stop the Chimera Ants from genociding other countries, so they contact the Hunter Association. This is an institution which is formed by most of the magic users in this world, and they send their best warriors to try to exterminate the Chimera Ants. And what follows is a race against time, because stronger and stronger ants are being born. And even worse, one of these ants survived a fight against a Nen user, and in turn learned to use Nen, and then started teaching the others. So yeah, now the ants, these abominations, can also use magic. Eventually, the king and his royal guard are born, and they are the strongest creatures in this world without even trying, because the queen kept some of the strength of the millions of humans and animals she ate, and all of this distilled strength went into these four creatures. So yeah, they are basically unstoppable. On a side note, in many stories the heroes are trying to save the world, but saving the world is such a vague notion that you don't really feel it. But in this case, you do have this ominous feeling that if the Chimera Ants are not contained right now, humanity will end. But let's go back to the monster stuff. There's a lot of fighting in the show, and the main characters kill a lot of Chimera Ants. But you cannot really enjoy all the fights and the violence because you know that all of those Chimera Ants they are killing are just reincarnated humans. Okay, picture this. You're just a normal person living your normal life, but then one day the heroes fail to protect you from a bunch of monsters who kill you and eat you. But then you are reborn as one of the monsters, and you are very happy about it because you got a literal second chance at life. But then the very same heroes who failed to protect you in the first place come and kill you all over again. This is this is some Oedipus level tragedy. And Guillermo, I know that if you take these ideas as inspirations, you could write something even better. I do it myself, but monsters aren't really my stuff, and I'm busy writing something else. A lot more happens in this story, and I do mean a lot more. But let me just cover the few remaining plot points which are relevant for the monster stuff. At one point, the ants break into factions, and one of these factions agrees to work with the Hunter Association in exchange for them helping to save the queen's life. Long story, but I mention it because I really like this scene of these regular human doctors doing their best to try to save the life of this abomination. And because after all the fighting and murder, the interactions between the humans and the Chimera Ants just hit differently, you know? It's like if you finally manage to sit down and have a talk with the monster who lives under your bed. And sure, the monster still wants to eat you, and it is still a monster, but you realize that on some circumstances you both can get along, you can agree on some things, and you can work together. Also, this is the point when the humans finally discover that the Chimera Ants are reincarnated humans, and they don't really seem to care, which I always thought was a missed opportunity by Togashi here. Then Colt saves the life of the baby queen, and he makes a pact with the humans to let her live. And in doing so, he is finally fulfilling the promise he made to his first mother to protect his little sister. But the funny thing is that his little sister was also reincarnated as a Chimera Ant. Here she is with her ant face, and after all that happens, she manages to go back to their village. And their village is mostly intact because on all the raids that Colt made for humans all over the country, he always spared his original village. And so this little girl arrives and she's very afraid, but her mother recognizes and her mother hugs her and tells her that she's so happy that she's finally back home. And it's so weird and it's so heartwarming. And Guillermo, I know this is the kind of stuff you like. It's like a mother hugging her monster reincarnated daughter. Oh my god. Tell me you don't love this. This is amazing. This is one of the best scenes in the whole show. Finally, people in the comments would kill me if I didn't tell you that there is this whole dynamic where Gon becomes the real monster, while the king and his royal guard go from being monsters to being true beacons of friendship, loyalty, and love. And it is incredible how Togashi manages to make this narrative 180. But there are so many other videos about this dynamic specifically, so I'm gonna link you to some videos in the description. And in the end, you should experience it for yourself. I mean, the Chimera Ant is long, but I do think it's worth your watch. And which is the point of this whole video, right? So yeah. Now, of course, a lot more happens in this arc and in this show in general, but the point is that the ideas it has about people becoming monsters are beautiful in their tragedy, and I know they will inspire you. Unless you have already watched or read Hunter x Hunter, which is very likely because you're very vocal about how you like anime. I couldn't find an interview in which you mentioned having watched this anime specifically, so I thought, well, just in case he hasn't, then this would be useful. And in case you have watched it, I hope this video was at least entertaining for you and for the rest of my audience. And so, yeah, thanks for watching.